So just when you think the real estate market can't get any worse, check out this horrible news.
The cost of becoming a homeowner is increasingly out of reach for many Americans. In 237 cities, a so-called starter home will now set you back at least $1 million.
And right after I saw that video clip come out, I just saw this one showing real estate prices in one particular part of the country that absolutely blew my mind. Take a look at this.
The beauty of the Grand Tetons draws millions of tourists and hikers each year, but few people can afford to live there.
For most people here, real estate prices are wildly unaffordable. This county's median income is $108,000 a year, but the average listing price of a single-family home is more than $7 million.
Utterly mind-blowing. So what do you do if you're thinking about buying a home? You're about to find out. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of real quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the U.S. economy, the U.S. real estate market, and specifically the Las Vegas real estate market, then make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. Number 2, if you happen to like the content in today's video, make sure to press that thumbs up like button, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number 3, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the video. So it's very clear as to what's happening within the U.S. housing market, and especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market. This is quickly becoming a case of the haves versus the have-nots. On one side, you have people with a lot of money that are driving home prices through the roof, and on the other side are the have-nots, the people that not only can barely afford a home, but are going to need a miracle just to even retire. Check out this clip.
According to investment bank Natixis, the average retirement savings of Gen X households is about $150,000. Wow, that's far from the $1.5 million Americans say they need to retire comfortably. Almost half of the people in the study said that it would take a miracle for them to be able to retire.
Now, as bad as that may be for millions of average people, a housing correction could be on the horizon because, as you can see right next to me, over 60% of homes now are sitting on the market for longer than 1 month, which is up 65% year over year. And in this next graphic, you can see cash purchases have also dropped dramatically, over 60% lower from the first quarter from this year compared to last year. These are telltale signs that things are now starting to change. Now, in this next graphic, I want to show you another very revealing statistic as to why the real estate market may be headed down. All right, so this chart right here is a very good indicator that a potential housing correction is on the horizon. So let's take a look at the top right here where it says home builder inventory for sale completed. That means homes that are for sale right now that are brand new, completed by home builders. You can see in the bottom left, it says it right here again, completed unsold homes from builders. And then if we look over here on the right side where the yellow text is, it says home builder inventory spikes to highest level since 2009. And you can see that yellow arrow right there indicating where we're at currently right now. So now this chart goes back 40 years. So if we take a look over on the left side of the middle chart here, you see this horizontal dotted line. The line right here indicates kind of an equilibrium on new housing inventory, and you can see it kind of fluctuates a little bit back and forth in these first 20 years of the chart. It goes down a little bit, it goes up a little bit, but we really see a huge spike right here. This is where we had that huge economic recession when we went through 2007 and 2008 because people were not able to buy homes at that time. So what happened? Housing inventory spiked. Then we see that the market recovered, and you can see it completely drop off in the subsequent years down here. And then it started to fluctuate back up a little bit. And then we see this big drop off right here from about 2020 to about 2023. This is when the pandemic happened and people started buying homes like crazy. But now you can see from right here around 2022, 2023, look at the spike now coming all the way back up to the dotted line. That's where we are right now, the highest new home builder inventory since 2009, because again, the indicator is that people are not able to afford homes as much now because prices have gone up so much. So this is a very clear indicator that the housing market is starting to shift, because when we see new home builder inventory spike to a level that we haven't seen in the last 15 years, this is a market sentiment shift, in my opinion, where now we're finally starting to see the tide turn because home prices, especially new home prices, are far too high compared to people's incomes and wages. So what's happening? People are not able to afford these homes as much, and inventory is going up, demand is dropping, and ultimately, in my opinion, whether it's a resale home or a new home for sale, especially here in the Las Vegas area, these prices are ultimately going to start to come down. So now here's the thing, as slow as it may be, supply is increasing while demand is dropping. I know it may not feel that way, but as inventory increases, especially if we hit any kind of economic rough water in the coming months, an inevitable housing correction is possible. Now, just to drill down more specifically into the Las Vegas area where I happen to be located, I want to show you some specific examples to further prove the changing of the real estate market, and especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market. All right, so let's first take a look at this website from one of the largest national home builders in the country, Lennar Homes. Now, you can see on the left side of the screen, you really can't miss it in that red box. Our July sales event is extended. Hurry in to save. Now, this just ended just about a day or so ago when you guys are going to see this video, but if you click on the link there, it says right here, save up to $75,000 on a brand new home, plus up to $10,000 in closing costs. So what this basically was, the way they were running this through the end of July, was that if you signed a purchase agreement and you closed by the end of August, you were able to get these kind of savings. Now, in my opinion, these savings are going to be extended because, as you're about to see when I go back to the next page, you're going to see a lot of reduced homes from this builder. All right, so now we're back on the original page, but now as I scroll down the left side here where it says right here, home of the week, take a look at the reductions here. So it says move-in ready, move-in ready. So these are all move-in ready homes ready to go from this builder, but you can see the price reduction. 554 is scratched out. It's now 509. This one, 672, down 579. That's almost a $100,000 price reduction from the original. Scroll down a little bit more. This one was 660. It's now 569. That's a $90,000 price reduction. This one was one of their more expensive ones for $1.16 million. It's now down to $984. We keep scrolling down. 480 is now dropped right here to 409. $1,028,000 has now dropped to $929. We keep scrolling down here. 807 is now 708. Again, another $100,000 reduction. This one over here, 765, now down to 700, a $65,000 reduction. And if I keep going, you're going to see a lot of these homes that are crossed off from the original prices because, again, all of these homes are being reduced for a reason. They were trying to get these original prices and they were not able to for a very specific reason. They were too high to begin with. And now, again, you're starting to see the market sentiment shift, especially with these new builders. They're being forced to reduce prices because, again, demand is dropping. All right, so now I'm on the popular real estate platform Zillow that most of you guys are familiar with. And the reason I go on this website, number one, is because it's the most popular real estate platform out there. A lot of people like to see what homes are going for in terms of price points, what their personal home is worth. What I like to do is I like to show you guys a lot of the history based on the information that they provide, which is public data, for you guys to see what's going on in any particular market. Now, I'm going to focus in obviously here on the Las Vegas real estate market, and I want to show you a few examples here. The first couple of examples of Las Vegas homes for sale are going to be based on the fact that home prices that were originally listed at those prices closed at a much lower closing price. So I'm going to show you a couple examples of that first, and then I'm going to show you another example where a home, in my opinion, is massively overpriced at the current level, and the sellers are being far too greedy to try to get that price point. So let's just take a look at a couple examples, and we're going to start with the absolute ridiculous, which is a multi-million-dollar, super high-end luxury home just for entertainment purposes, because this is a real fun one. All right, so this one is pretty mind-blowing. So let's take a look down at the bottom right of the screen here in the blue highlight. Down on the bottom left there, the date there says 7/22/2022. So that's exactly 2 years ago where they originally listed this home for sale for $17.5 million. This is a super high-end, one of the most expensive luxury homes you could buy in Las Vegas. They priced it at this incredible price point, and there were no buyers even at that kind of luxury level. So they started to reduce it. 16.2, 15.5, 12.9, 12.9. They had a contingent offer. It fell apart. And then take a look right there. $10.25 million is where this home sold for. So I know this is a ridiculous example to show because I know 99.9% of people on this planet will never be able to afford a home of this kind of price point. But again, here in this crazy Las Vegas real estate market, it just goes to show you that even sellers at these kinds of price points are still looking for these naive buyers out there, especially ones that have a lot of money, and just bid on the original list price when the original list price of these homes are nowhere near the true value of this home. Just think about this. It took 2 years to sell this home, and they dropped the price from $17.5 million to finally selling it at $10.2 million. That's over a $7 million price reduction, or about 40%. So again, it just goes to show you, whether you're in the top 1% luxury buyers or an average price point buyer, you should never be bidding on any of these original list prices, because in most cases, these are completely overpriced. All right, so now let's take a look at this second example that was a Las Vegas home for sale back in October of last year, and it closed in March of this year. So it took a little over 5 months for this home to close, and it closed, you can see right next to my picture there in that black font right there, it says $495,000. So now we're going all the way down to the other extreme in terms of the Las Vegas real estate market, where we're now down close to the average median home price, which right now in Las Vegas is about $475,000. But again, more importantly, I want to show you down below where this original list price was compared to this closing price. All right, so again, focus your attention down on the bottom right of the screen, the blue highlight. Down on the left side of the highlight there, the date says 10/26/2023. So this is October of last year. The original list price on the home was $565,000. The sellers were not able to find a buyer, so they went through a series of price reductions. So you can see as I scroll up here, $550, $520, $505, $495, pending sale at $495, and then it's sold right there for $495. So again, this is another perfect example of a seller being far too aggressive on their original list price. They started at $565, it closed at $495. That's a $70,000 price reduction, or about 13% off the original list price. So again, it just goes to show you, there are a lot of examples that I find on these popular real estate platforms like Zillow, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market. When I see all of these Las Vegas homes for sale, there's a huge chunk of them that are still massively overpriced. So again, if you're a buyer, you need to do your due diligence and not just bid on this original list price, because again, many of them are just overpriced. All right, so let's take a look at this third example of a Las Vegas home for sale that is currently listed right now. You can see on the left side of the screen for $800,000. It's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, just over 2,600 square foot home. But again, I want to show you the price history down below to show you where this home price was just a few years ago compared to where it is now. All right, so again, focus your attention down on the blue highlight at the bottom of the screen. The date on the bottom left there, I'm going all the way back to 11/1/2016. That's about 8 years ago, where this home sold originally for $392,000. Now, if we look at the date just above it, it says 6/26/2024. So we fast forward 8 years later, back in June, just a couple of months ago here, this home sold for $590,000. So if we take a look right here between these two, it took 8 years for this home to go from about $390,000 to $590,000. Now, if we look at the date just above that, it says 7/18/2024, listed for sale for $800,000. Well, this is totally insane. So let's just backtrack for a second. You can see again down on the blue highlight, 8 years ago, the home sold for $390,000. 8 years later, it sold for $590,000. That's a $200,000 price increase. Now it's going from $590,000 to $800,000, which again is another $200,000 price increase. But instead of it taking 8 years for that to happen, these sellers are trying to do it in less than a month. That just goes to show you how insane, especially all of the investors are out there, because this is an investor that rehabbed this home. They put a couple of bucks into it, but they certainly didn't put in $200,000 worth. So they're trying to get not only all of their costs back, but they're trying to make a massive profit. Again, if you're a buyer, you really got to be careful, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market, of this kind of price gouging. So here's the way I look at it. What goes up must come down. And when it comes to the U.S. housing market, and especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market, I believe we are long overdue for a correction. Now again, real estate down cycles notoriously take time to play out. The last crash that we had, which was back in 2006, took about 5 or 6 years for prices to finally bottom out. And again, peak prices in this real estate cycle happened about 2 years ago. So this could be a slow grind down, but I believe the market is definitely shifting, and we're going to have to wait to see how it all plays out. So before we end today's video, I just want to give a shout out to my favorite comment from last week's video, and that goes to CWO. Now I'm going to put his comments up here on screen, which again are pretty shocking, and then I'm going to come back on the other side and comment on it. So CWO wrote, just moved to Nevada from Colorado, going from 2.25% to 7.375% interest rate is a hard pill to swallow. We are paying 33% more for a home, 50% smaller than we had previously only because of the interest rate. So that is very unfortunate, because if you're a homeowner that has a 2% interest rate and then you move into a 7+% interest rate, that is a very tough pill to swallow. That's why so many homeowners, even with a lot of equity in their homes, are not moving, because they don't want to move into a much higher mortgage payment and go into that 7+% category. I want to hear from you guys. I want you to drop me a comment down below. I read and respond to all of my comments. I want to know what your current interest rate is, or what your best interest rate was compared to what it is now. And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct on-screen shout out to in next week's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I also hope you appreciate my transparency. You know that I'm always going to keep it 100% real on this channel regarding the economy and the real estate market. So here's my simple advice for you guys. Housing inventory is going up. Demand is dropping. It's happening slowly. I think it's going to be a slow grind down on home prices. Interest rates are still elevated. The job market is weakening, and we have a presidential election coming up near the end of this year. In my opinion, with this kind of uncertainty and the shifting of the market right now, I would sit tight and not buy a high-ticket item right now like a home. If you can wait things out, I would sit it out until we get into 2025, because I think at that point, we're going to start to see the shift in the economy and potentially home prices dropping. Now, again, I know everybody's circumstances are different. Some people can wait things out. Some people are looking to buy a home right now. If you are thinking about buying a home, especially here in the Las Vegas area, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you guys in the next video.